Most people think a new year changes their lives. New goals, new motivation, new plans. And for like 2 weeks, it actually feels real. Then suddenly it's March. Nothing's changed. Same stress, same money problems, same habits. And instead of asking why, people just say, yeah, I'll try next year. That cycle is not because you're lazy, it's not because you're unmotivated, and it's definitely not because you're stupid. It's because no one taught you how change actually works. Here's what most people do. They sit down, they grab a notebook, and they write a crazy list. I'm gonna save more money. I'm gonna get into shape. I'm gonna stop scrolling. I'm gonna start a side hustle. I'm gonna fix my mindset. Bro, that is not a plan. That is a wish list. If you don't go from zero to superhero just because the calendar flipped, that's like saying I haven't worked out in years, so obviously I'll run every day. Let's be honest for a second. No, you won't. And that's okay. The problem isn't ambition, bro. The problem is unrealistic expectations. Here's the truth no one talks about. Goals don't change your life. Systems do. Saying I want more money doesn't help. Or saying I want financial freedom sounds nice, but it's still useless in itself. What actually works is asking, what do I do daily that keeps me broke? And what are the smallest things I could change without hating my life? Because real growth isn't dramatic. It's boring, it's quiet, and it compounds. That's how money works. That's how habits work. That's how confidence works. And let me give you a real life example. My coffee addiction. I love coffee. Not the cute little homebrew kind either. I'm talking about Starbucks mocha frappuccino. Extra sugar, tastes like dessert. And yeah, I get it like every 2 days or more, or probably daily. Is it expensive over time? Absolutely. If Dave Ramsey and Graham Stephan were watching this, they will probably start screaming at the screen, like if I screw up my retirement plan. But here's where systems matter more than guilt. Instead of pretending I'm suddenly going to become a person who never buys coffee again, which I'm not, I built a small system around it. Every single day I invest $5 into my SoFi investing account. Not when I remember, only if I have extra. Every day. Yes, I spend money on something I enjoy, but also I pay my future self at the same time. That's the difference between I need to be perfect with money and I'll make sure I have money saved, whether that's investing or in a high yield savings account. Because the goal isn't to live like a monk. The goal is to build a life I actually enjoy and what I could afford. And that's what people miss. Personal finance on the internet is usually two extremes. One side, never spend anything. Cut your credit cards. Survive on rice and regrets. The other side says the money is fake. Buy whatever you want. Manifest wealth. Meanwhile, real life is in the middle, where you can still buy the coffee, but you also have to build a system. Because discipline doesn't mean suffering, it means structure. And once you get that, money stops feeling like a constant fight. It just becomes a set of decisions you already made in advance. That compounding in real life, not just dollars, but a peace of mind. Every habit you have, good or the bad, follows the same pattern. Something triggers it, you do something. You get an award. Scroll on your phone, dopamine. Buy something you don't need, temporary relief. Avoid your finances, less anxiety, for now. So instead of trying to remove habits, you replace them. Same trigger, different action, better rewards, bro. Alright, example. Let's go for me. Alright, let's talk about an example. You come home tired and you scroll for an hour. What if instead you put on a podcast and go for a short walk? Same escape, way better outcome. That's not discipline. That's a strategy. Now a better example is me. I used to scroll my phone for hours. Not a little break scrolling. I mean, full on where it's suddenly dark outside. and I learned absolutely nothing except what stranger ate for lunch. Or, I don't know, Ty Lopez is saying some outrageous shit. Oh no, that's, what is it, Andrew Tate? I didn't fix that overnight, of course. I didn't one day wake up and become a productive monk. I changed the tiny little things. Instead of grabbing my phone first, I started reading. At first it was mangas. Because let's be honest, jumping straight into a heavy book was not happening. Then I moved into light novels. And now recently I started to actually read books. 48 Laws of Powers and other mindsets and financial stuff. That took time. It wasn't old me and new me in 24 hours. It was old habits, slightly better habits, even better habits. And that's the part people don't want to talk about. Change is messy. It's slow, and sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. Until one day you realize you're a different version of yourself. I'm just saying, it doesn't happen overnight, believe me, bro. But taking those small steps can slowly change how you think, how you act, and honestly, how you see yourself. And here's another piece people forget. Rewards matter. You're allowed to enjoy the process. For example, every month, I invest like $800 and put another $200 into my savings. When I hit that goal, I reward myself going to Yogurtland. Is frozen yogurt financially necessary? Absolutely not. But it does make my brain feel I did a good job. 100%. I mean, that reward can be literally anything. A coffee, a game, a day off, a food you like. The important part isn't the yogurt. It's teaching your brain good habits, good feelings. Because if you make self improvements feel like punishment, your brain will quit on you faster than a New Year's gym membership. So don't focus on being perfect. Focus on being a little better than yesterday. Change those small habits, stack them, but also reward them. That's how you actually reprogram yourself without hating your life. Now, let's talk about money. Most people don't fail financially because they don't earn enough. They fail because they don't track anything, they avoid numbers, they rely on motivation instead of structure. Money isn't emotional. People are. So if you want better finances, stop asking, how do I get rich so fast? And start asking, how do I make smarter decisions? And start asking, how do I make smarter default decisions? Well, there's a couple. Automatic savings, simple budgets, and clear priorities. You don't need to be perfect. What you need is be consistent enough. Now, here's what I did at 18. I knew I wanted to become financially stable. Not rich overnight, of course. Not some Lamborghini lifestyle, Just stable and not have to worry about money too much. So, I broke down the simplest way possible. At a time, I had a part-time job. I made about $2,600 a month. Not glamorous, not that influencer money, just a regular, normal paying job. I believe I worked at a restaurant. Yeah, it was the first restaurant. I don't know if you guys ever heard it, Kura Sushi. It's pretty good food. But, sidetrack here. I made one rule to myself. Save at least $1,100 every single month. I was very fortunate to have my parents to keep me under the roofs. So, all I did was change my mindset. That $1,100 got split between saving and investing before anything else. Whatever was left for me, well, that's for real life. Food, phone bill, random expenses, or honestly, whatever I wanted. But priorities never changed for me. The savings happen first, not the last. Most people do it backwards. They spend first and hope something is left saved. I did the opposite. And that one decision carried me hard. Eventually, I expanded my knowledge into understanding personal finance more deeply, and that gave me a clear picture on how money actually works. Every book I read, every YouTube video I watched, slowly changed the way I saw money. I stopped seeing it as pay bills, survive, repeat. I started seeing it as build a system, create options, and relax a little. And honestly, I hope you watching this can have the same shift. Now let's go back to yourself, changing that mindset. How about the videos that you watch now? Let's switch them. Let's rewrite your brain into watching personal finance videos. No dramas about some influencer, because financially, stability isn't one big decision. It's a bunch of small, slightly boring choices stacked up, one on top of each other. And those choices add up faster than you really think, man. Here's something that changed everything for me. You don't need 10 habits. You just need 1 or 2 habits that pull everything else with them. Maybe you could probably change one of these. Going to bed early, tracking spending daily, walking every morning, writing plans before the night. Good habits can fix your energy, your focus, your money, and your mood. It's not because you're grinding harder, but because your life stopped fighting you. We live in a world designed to keep you distracted. Always scrolling, always comparing, always chasing more. Your body becomes a project. Your free time becomes content. Your worth becomes numbers. And slowly, you stop living. You start optimizing. That's not growth. That's burnout. With a better lighting. Real success isn't just making money. It's building a life you don't need to escape from. So, if you want this year to actually feel different, don't promise yourself a new personality. Promise yourself a better system. Track something, replace one bad habit, learn how money actually works. Oh yeah, I forgot. Grow. But don't forget to live a little. If this helps, I'm glad. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.